You lot are probably wondering why I'm starting halfway through a job. I wasn't going to do a video, but this vehicle has come from miles away. It has been faffed about with. It's had faults, and somebody's tried to map them faults out, and it hasn't been successful. So I've pretty much said to the customer, I want that van back to standard. So whoever's mapped it for you, get them to flash that ECU back to standard. Now, it has got EGR circuit open. I'll show you. And these are the fault codes that we are getting. EGR, I'm not really worried about that one, but this one, the EGR, I'm worried about that one. Now, we are using the brand new X431 Launch Euro. Fantastic tool, stupidly fast. Now, I've already had the wiring loom apart from here, checking the powers and grounds to here. EGR valve has failed. When I check my powers and grounds from the ECU, which is underneath there, we're getting 4 to 5 volts for a brief second, and it's dropping back out. Now I'm thinking it's doing like a little bit of a self-test, and it's seeing that as an open circuit, and it's shutting it off. But I am in the middle of getting this EGR valve off, and you're probably thinking, oh, you don't need to take all that apart. Well, yes, I do, because my hands are massive and I can't get in there to get the EGR valve. Now, it is almost off, but I've got to take just this water pump. Well, no, that is the thermostat. Take the thermostat housing off, the 4mm, and then we should be able to get it off. Right, with a little bit of persuasion and lots of unplugging and wiggling about, we have now finally got the EGR valve off. If we have a little look inside there, it is heavily carboned up. Now, what we're going to do, I have already tested this on the vehicle. We're just going to do a little test off the vehicle. Now, pins 1 and pin 2 in there, that left one and the second one from the left, that is the pins that control the motor. Now, we're going to get our power probe, and what we're going to be using is this top diag power probe that I haven't long bought. Probably about, well, it might have been just after Christmas, New Year sale sort of thing. We're going to get this coupled up and give it a little bit of a test. Just to make things out a little bit easier for me to test things, we're going to be using some breakout leads. It just saves brilliantly. So if you haven't got any, get some, because it saves damaging terminals. Put the red on pin 1, black on pin 2, if we can get it on. Can we on? Yeah, we are now on. Yeah, go on. Now, with that EGR now pinned, we can go ahead and connect our power probe. Connect that one to the earth. And as we power it up, you should hear the motor going bzzz. There's absolutely nothing there whatsoever. Let's swap it round. Test it the other way. Absolutely nothing. This is absolutely a stupid EGR setup. To take the EGR valve off the cooler, you've got to take the bypass valve off. You can see there. Because there is 2 screws that go through that into the bottom of the EGR valve. Oh, you can see I'd give it a little tap on there. Look how much crap's coming out of it. We're going to give that a clean. We're going to give it a little bit of a clean before we put it back together. And I'm also going to give that EGR cooler a little bit of a blowing out as well. Now, if you follow the channel for long enough, you probably know that I like to take things apart and have a little look and see why they've failed. Now, if we have a little look, I have taken the motor off the EGR valve. And if we have a little look inside there, it is all carboned up. But the EGR valve is moving. So that side of it is working. But however, if we go to the motor side of it, have a little look inside there. Hang on. Let's flip it round and show you in the sun. If we have a little look inside there, it is heavily carboned up. So what I think's been happening is exhaust gases have been just coming past the valve and getting in to this part here. We're going to give this motor a little bit of a test. Now, this is what I like so much about this little power probe, because you can put it on a moment, or where you just tap the button, or you can put it on a latch where it's on, or we can put it on a little bit of a pulse. If I put my camera back here, which means I can hold it up and try and show you at the same time. I put that, can you see it? Right, that is all now connected, but nothing is working. But if I just get that little gear and give it a bit of a tap, it works. Oh, hang on, my pen's just dropped down. Pop that on there. Listen to it. Oh, it's popped out again. Right. You get me drift. Believe it or not, you're going to have to excuse the mess because we have rigged it up a little bit better and we are still pulsing. You can see. Pulsing, but if we go now, that's now working away, and you can also see, what I do like about this. So we moan that it's sunny, even then the sun gets in my way. You can also see how many amps that motor is pulling. Stopped again. Give it a little. So we can 100% confirm that EGR is causing havoc with this van. Now, bearing in mind, this van it's been tried to be remapped. It's tried to have this deleted, that deleted. If the fault's still there, you're going to have problems. The lady who owns the van, she was like, oh, ever since I've had it mapped, the van's never been right. Put it back to standard and we'll get it sorted for you. And that is what we're doing. With a little bit of magic, the brand new one has turned up, and of course we're going to be giving a little bit of a test. Now, if I put 12 volts to it, you should see the valve moving in there as it should do. Right, now with this, wherever they've gone, we have got brand new gaskets to put it all back together. Right, well, I am plodding on because I need to get this van done. Now, I put the EGR valve on. Everything is now plumbed back in, all the water pipes, new gaskets throughout. Now, I have got the battery on charge because it was a little bit flat, and we're using the GYS. Awesome battery charger support unit, that is. Right. Let's plug on. I've got all this front end to bolt back up. It shouldn't be much of a job, really. It looks worse than what it is. And there we go, with a little bit of magic, that front end is now back on. Mind the mess, because we had a little water pipe that had a mind of its own. And it was, even though I drained it, it still had about 200 million litres of bloody oil in it. Water. Right. Let's jump in. It might already be in. Yeah, right. We're already in. See the fault codes here, open circuit. Let's give them a big clear. We've got no DTCs. Let's have a little look to see if we've got special functions for resetting the EGR. Like I said, this is a new diag for me on Saturday. And to see reset the reset EGR. Let's give that a reset. Let's mine that up on the floor. Let's see what happens. Right, well that diag now has now done its thing, what it needs to do. Now, if you just go back, give the ignition a few ignition cycles. Now the AdBlue light is on, but I just think that the level is low, because it comes up here saying AdBlue low in 1500 miles. So I'm going to try topping that up. I haven't got any AdBlue here whatsoever. So we'll turn that engine off, key on, and we'll do another high-speed scan and see if we've got any. PCM, we've got no fault codes there now whatsoever. Now I am pretty certain that that AdBlue light will go off because the level is low. Because when it first come in, it only had, if I remember, I can't remember, was it about 450 miles range? Now when you do get an engine management fault, it also does put an AdBlue fault because it's emissions related. I think, well I don't think, I know that this vehicle is going to be alright. And if it isn't alright after I've topped that AdBlue up, I will let you all know on my shorts. But the vehicle now feels a lot smoother to when I put it on the ramp, and yeah. Now this vehicle has been loads of places and it's been mapped. It's had the EGR off, it's had the AdBlue off. Just trying to fix this. Do you know what I mean? People, you shouldn't you shouldn't just, because you've got a fault, oh I can't fix it, map it out. Because that fault is still going to be there and it will cause absolute havoc with it. Now I remember about 6 months ago I had a Volkswagen Transporter, and for about 12 months this customer had it back into in various garages and one thing and another, and I think I've told this story before. He'd be driving along down the bypass, it'd only happen once a week, once a month, literally random, and every time it happened the vehicle went into limp mode and he was plugging it in or getting it plugged in and it had no fault codes whatsoever. None whatsoever. And one day he rang me up and said, hey Barry, said, this van, it won't start. So I said, right, I said, I'll come down and have a little look. So I went down and had a little look, and it wouldn't start, as it does. And then it fired and it run. But it run so rough. And then I was like, you know what? That's got an EGR fault on it. Oh, it can't have an EGR fault on it because it's been mapped out. Yes, it doesn't matter. The fault code has been erased. If that EGR is faulty, it's still going to be causing havoc. And what it was doing, it was just slightly stuck open, and whoever mapped it hadn't put a blanking plate in. They just, before they'd mapped it, they'd seen that it was shut and gone, yeah, that'll do. Yeah, let's get it mapped. don't do mapping. Don't. Well, I'm not saying don't, you can. But don't. Because when a vehicle goes in for a repair, we don't know as mechanics whether somebody's been faffing about with the software, raising fault codes. We could be chasing our tails for weeks. But anyway, that is enough of me jibber jabbering. That van is all done now. I'm going to take it for a test drive. I'm going to use it for a couple of days and see how it goes. Make sure that it is hunky-dory, because this vehicle is from, I think it's from Harlock area. I'm not sure. But right, I'm going to put me tools away. In fact, I'm not even going to bother tonight because I need to get home. It is my birthday today. And I am, believe it or not, 22. 20 bloody 2. Hey? I wish I was. Right, well, if you've enjoyed that video, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Let's get it sent.